Good evening, Professor Patnode. This is my video final presentation in regards to Pillar 1 of our policing. Pillar 1 talks about many important subjects, namely to be a guardian and not a warrior. If you see me looking down here as well throughout the presentation, it's because I'm looking at my notes. But anyway, Pillar 1 consists of many important goals like working with the community, being transparent, and transitioning from the mentality and mindset of police being warriors to the mindset of being a guardian. What that essentially means is we train our police to shoot guns, to react to quick situations, to be constantly alert, and these are incredible things to have in anyone who is a warrior, anyone who is out on the street protecting their friends and stopping bad guys. But the police also need to be guardians, guardians of public peace, guardians of their own images, guardians of their own actions and the actions of their peers. They need to be vigilant, keeping their friends accountable, and making sure that their neighborhoods are safe. And the police know that, but there's a duality between the guardian and the warrior mentality. And one of the main goals of Pillar 1 that was establishing that we must transition from being a guardian from being a warrior to being a guardian. So when I was looking for positive policing programs, I decided to choose the Boston Police Department because my cousin Ryan works there and I knew that he could give me very good information. So a brief search brought up the HEAL Violence Prevention Crime Program. The HEAL Violence Prevention Grant Program. Very bad information around this program is what takes the center stage, unfortunately, since HEAL is an acronym, but on the website, the information for what HEAL means is not provided. And that should be the first sign that there's a big communication problem, not just in the police, but in the government and in the government to the police. And this is something my cousin agreed with me when we've talked before. He's said many times that the court system and the police aren't working together, and especially not in Boston, because many bad violent offenders are let out on the streets again, and my cousin has to repeatedly arrest them. But besides that, it's unclear what exactly the HEAL Violence Prevention Grant Program pays for, or if there's any concrete goals at all from what it does. My guess about the HEAL program is that the Boston Police Department frantically wrote up a plan to get the federal funding from back when you mentioned to us that Obama passed a law which required every police force to outline how it was going to address these problems. And I'm guessing that since this program is about 15 years old and it comes from the time when Obama was president, that this is the motivation behind its existence. Now, just because this program is terrible doesn't mean there aren't real things being done, though. That's the difference, which is extremely important. But before I can get into those real things, a little bit about the history of Boston. Boston was one of the first cities in America where a police force was implemented, and that is because there was a definite need for it, since the city is a major port, and therefore it will be a major site of trafficking and other crimes related to especially drugs. And the city's gangs first reached major prevalence during the Prohibition era. But now, all the people who were Prohibition gangsters are gone, and there's a new class of gangster, which is mainly in very tightly condensed urban neighborhoods with mainly black people, unfortunately, who are at risk of joining gangs, are in poverty, who have poor family structures and therefore poor community structures in general. And all these horrible problems lead to the systemic issue of gang violence, which is what my cousin's job is in the gang violence unit in the Boston PD. So it's exactly what he addresses. So it bothered me a lot when I asked my cousin Ryan about the HEAL Violence Prevention Grant Program, and he didn't even know that it existed. He had never heard of it before. And this should be a major concern to anyone who is addressing any issue in the criminal justice system. Since if the people on the ground don't understand what policy they're supposed to be enforcing, then obviously it will never be enforced, and the HEAL Violence Prevention Grant Program may as well not exist since no one knows about it. uh, but there are real things being done, as I mentioned earlier, and my cousin provided some incredible examples for me about community outreach done by the Boston Police Department, including a program, a very effective program as well, by the by the Boys and Girls Club of Boston to help young people escape gang violence. According to them, on their website, they have successfully helped 17,000 young people since 1998 from leading a life of gang violence. They've intervened successfully and helped. And apparently 51% of those people were referred to them by the police. And this shows that an effective relationship between the police and social workers can result in thousands of people's lives being improved, entire communities potentially being saved from poverty, and so much more. Communication is key. More transparency is key. That is the most effective way to treat the problems of the police. Oh, no way he's calling my phone right now. Sorry, Professor Patnode, for that interjection. This take is too good to stop now, so I'm going to continue. Anyway, another good example of something which was helping the police, besides the Boys and Girls Club of Boston, which assisted many thousands of people, was something called Operation Exit. My cousin told me about Operation Exit because it allows gang members to exit the life of being a gang member and join a trade union instead. The police work with the trade union and help many of these at-risk individuals, some who were, my cousin mentioned that the most prevalent age was 12 to 15 years old, which is a tragedy. And these young people, teenagers, not teenagers, people who are younger than teenagers, are able to have a means of escape from the life of gang violence. And that's an important thing, but the most important thing to take away from the history of Boston, from the reaction to gang violence, from the federal government's complete lack of what is going on in reality, I think to most importantly take away from this is that no one is being held accountable. No one. The gang members get re-released and put back on the street very quickly. The police are told that they have a goal in the HEAL program, and they don't know what it is. The city of Boston has a problem with gang violence, and they address it by offering opportunities to gang members instead of locking the gang up and destroying it forever, or any other number of solutions. And while incentives for social integration matter very much, what matters most is enforcement of the law and prevention of unnecessary harm and death. And we can only do that once more people have taken responsibility for the actions around them. I call out to all police to please be responsible, look at what's going on around you, and make sure that you can really make your community heal, and you're not just creating a convenient search result so that when someone looks up Boston Police Community Outreach, when someone looks up Boston Police Community Outreach, they see this program, and that should be a disgrace because no one knows what it does. That's all I have to say. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day, Professor Patnode. Sorry for the call interrupting the middle of this, but I feel I did it right in this take. So I hope you enjoy. and have a pleasant evening.